Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready here. It's map number 2. You are watching the XSE Pro League in Guangzhou, China. My name is Anders. With me is Vince. And Vince, we got through that first map. I must say, in a bit of a surprising fashion, it looked to me like TYLOO, once they kind of got fired up and ready, mechanically they looked very strong, but 9C made a great comeback themselves, ended up winning their own map pick, which now puts us onto Mirage, this second map in the series.
Exactly, perfectly recapped. Yes, it was a bit of a roller coaster.
Hello guys,
of emotions for both
how
teams.
are we doing today?
It would be safe to say that
I'm
a
little bit late.
Finishing a few steps.
I'm a little bit late. I admit that. I apologize, guys. But
just a tad
yeah, here I am.
That it is a
here we are.
Strong map for TYLOO, but also maybe a
TYLOO versus 9Z. It's a best of 3 playoff. It's quarterfinals.
Like this is very
so.
But do keep in mind that the two teams are typically playing against completely different levels of opposition. However, with that all being said, TYLOO have a real chance here, Anders. I think that there is a way forward to getting to Inferno, and if it does go to Inferno, it's genuinely a coin flip as far as I'm
By the way, guys, we're live on Twitch, Kick,
we like those.
Rumble,
Inferno
YouTube.
The deciding series here. I mean, the deciding map in the series.
Not on TikTok, by the way.
Could be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm going to be curious to see if some of the stuff that we learned on the opening map can be brought over into this one. Obviously, I think most notably was some of the very aggressive CT moves that were coming out from 9C, and you can do the same thing, and maybe not quite as crazily as a nuke, but there are pushes on the CT side of Mirage that could definitely be done that could put you behind the enemy lines. I mean, you push the Palace over on the A side, you push the B hallways. 9C,
I
would even say 9C is
one up. So basically, they defeated
TYLOO already, and they kind of
13-9
they had a
on nuke. Now this is map 2, Mirage.
So once again, welcome back, everybody.
And
we are good and ready to
let's
go.
hope that they can bring it to
kind of game plan
the decider, which is Inferno, map 3.
So you'd love to see them with a bit of a strong start here. Also, just mentioning it early on, I'm not seeing the smoke kit combination, so it's going to be all guns out here for 9C.
That is very true. A bit of utility for Mercury, as once again, Jam Young, as he did on the T side of Nuke, has that P250 by his name. He did get a frag. So we'll see if he can rinse and repeat and emulate that again. And I like that TYLOO are just mixing up the pace. So aggressive on that T side of Nuke, but just slowly meandering their way through onto the underpass area. Very split up as well. 2 players top of mid.
This is the playoff, guys. Best of 3, 2 teams.
Yeah, I'm glad
2 matches today.
He might have a pivotal role in this.
TYLOO versus 9Z and Nemesis versus Alliance.
Shuts down Jam Young. That's such a clean shot coming out. And Zero's activated, and he's done his job perfectly. That's more than you could have expected there. Taking down DGT. Mayan, he's gooshed up on the ramp himself. Oh, it's again a shot from Waso Peak. This guy is clean. Zero is gone. And Moja and G, they're now... Oh, wait, he's pushing with the bomb here. This is in CT spawn.
What?
He's got the bomb. And that's so distracting that Moja sneaks in a kill. And suddenly, we're back into a 2 versus 1 here. G.
G lurking on CT
and they
spawn.
know that he's back here. They know that he hasn't moved past. So I'd say this is a very tough round for G to win. Definitely not impossible, but a bit of an uphill battle. 20 seconds now on the clock, and he's being flanked even as we speak. I think this might just be it. Max has found a very, very good timing. Runs up and at least stops the bomb run, and now it's way more difficult here. G in trouble. Mayan trying to disconnect, and he's back around the corner. And I think that was the only chance here for G. If he found the kill on Mayan, then he's got an open way to a bomb plant. But now he's sandwiched in. He gets the bomb planted, but he should be dead, and he will be.
Man, he had a guardian angel watching over him that entire round. It looked like he was going to die about 3 or 4 times. And I do agree, it's a bit of a head scratcher at first when you take out the situation, the context of what was happening. But I have no issue with him pushing on T-spawn with the bomb. It was a 4v2. Going back to the A site was the obvious call, and they would have just been picked off from multiple angles. They didn't know, or at least they probably realized the chance that there was a player down in ramp. And so I just think they would have been pincered and essentially surgically removed. So I like that G tried to take the initiative and impose his own will and impose his own ability when it comes to that aim. And it nearly paid off for him. However, They did force a plant down, Anders, so that's going to yield now 4 Galils and a Tech 9. So the danger is far from over.
Yeah, to be honest, I think even getting a bomb plant in that 2v1 in itself is kind of a great victory. A lot of different ways that could have gone horribly wrong. So the early buy, like you said, has come out here. Only one helmet missing on Mayan. Not the end of the world, but definitely one of those positions, one of those features that can have a big impact on the round. And they are all of them headed towards this ramp and palace side. Sees the elbow of one player, but that's Wasso Peak just immediately throwing down a smoke. And he's going to start to back on out. They don't have a ton of utility, to be honest, on the CT side. Certainly not enough, I think, for any strong retakes. So they almost have to fight, I think, before the bomb goes down. And they're set up for it as well. Wasso Peak is here. He's got Mayan behind him with a flash. They could... Oh, yeah, he's going to flash it in already. The timing is kind of sick. He's going to get the first one only, but I thought that would have been more. I thought they had a real chance for a multi-spray down. It'll be Mayan
triple kill.
Instead,
4K.
on the
Mayan.
And he gets 4 kills with it. An absolutely ridiculous defense coming out for Mayan.
What a turnaround as well, man. That first half would have been a real one to forget as fast as possible from his perspective, but he had a massive upstart, a huge upward trend in that second, and now just igniting into Mirage. And Moshe, he does look quite sick, doesn't he? Like every time the camera pans to him, he looks like he's drained of energy. Had a rough second half on Nuke. I hope he's all right.
Yeah, well, they're going to be put on the back burner for a little bit now, aren't they, TYLOO? Back to some upgraded pistols and not much else. Testing out the limits with the Deagle. It'll be 0 to go down. Picked up another one, so sort of a hero Deagle situation. Jam Young, it's going to say, probably one of the players I don't want to be facing into if I'm max there, but he's confident in his own abilities. And the Deagle's been defeated twice now. G to go down next. They know that someone's back there, so Mercury's not really the issue. He's been identified, and now he's locked in. No chance to escape the kitchen whatsoever. Great defense. 9C, again, coming out fresh. I mean, they've won, what, every pistol round so far? 3 for 3 at the moment. And I think that just sets you up nicely in an MR12 game. That's going to be pretty good.
Also goes to show how much TYLOO battled back on Nuke. It was a 13-9, conceding multiple pistols, and the rounds that follow that as well, of course. So we're in an identical position over on Nuke. Totally different playground, though, of course. But can TYLOO bounce back with these rifles? Exactly what they did on Nuke. As soon as they had a decent firepower and economy behind it, they started to shine bright, albeit on the CT side. Luchov maneuvering away into the smoke, throwing the Molotov to the top boxes, trying to draw out the T's, but it's a good flashbang that allows Mayan just a little bit more wiggle room to back off. So although TYLOO have been flirting with the idea of taking middle, so far they're kind of stuck towards the top side. Now, Mosia's making moves down onto the balcony, but it's going to be a beautiful headshot. Mosio. I thought we'd have had him dead to rights. He must have been looking towards instead.
Yeah, and I think the flashbang from the B bomb site there alerted Moshe to the idea that someone could have been there. You could see that flash going over the wall. It's such a cool flashbang to be able to throw from B into middle for the peak, but there wasn't much of a fight here. 9C, they had so many people near the middle, but they haven't been able to do anything. I think this is kind of disappointing. 3 or almost 4 people from 9C were ready to fight middle, but none of them fought together. And instead, they get bounced on from the connector. Moshe got that early kill, taking down a player on shorts. This has just been very, very efficient. I think kind of a bit disappointing for 9C. I guess they got smoked off themselves towards connector, but at that point, I would say you either make the decision to leave and just say, okay, you guys can have connector, I suppose, or you fight through it and you're trying to, you know, blow open the smoke or whatever. They even, like I said, they had the flashbang coming in from B. I feel like 9C, they had all of the pieces in the right position. They just didn't really do what I wanted there, or at least what I think was open to them. DDT is going to have to try and save the gun. Of course, TYLOO answered back early.
Yeah, I think that's one of the concerns for me as a main as an AWPer from time to time. His positioning just feels like it's a little bit off. Like we saw from the perspective of Mosier landing that beautiful one tap over on the bench. But main is out in the open. I understand he was flashed, he was smoked, he was kind of pushed and bullied around for a fair few seconds beforehand. But typically what AWPs will do is hold the tight angle on the jump hop box, look towards the chair, or for the push around the corner of catwalk. Especially, you can see the smoke down as he dies. He's not going to have any help from connector. So he's essentially just by himself trying to watch multiple angles in a weird position where even if you don't get headshot from Mosier, you're susceptible to being naded and molotoved out of position in that spot. So those are the little mistakes that can creep in from time to time.
Yeah, small mistakes, but potentially big outcomes or a big result from them. Jamyoung back here. They might feel like they've Molotov this out, but he somehow was around the incendiary. I think DDT's automatically dead. Flashbang, I don't even think it was necessary. They had so much trust in the early incendiary to burn out any position there, and it didn't. I don't know why, if it failed or Jamyoung just found like a sneaky, little position to play in. Regardless, it's an annoying way to die early on from DGT. And the first sign, I would say, of real CT aggression that we've seen from them here, where they try to push that top mid position a little bit, but not fully committed to it either. Backfires on them. Now it's a 4-on-5.
And TYLOO slow down the pace. Love to see this. It was hyper aggression on Nuke that yielded them a little bit of success, but just playing with their food a little bit, allowing these smokes to fully plume. Get into the heads of 9Z. Luchov, good angle. First frag comes through, but he's never likely to get two. However, they may not anticipate the match so close, but they do, and G takes his head straight off. And although Mayan is keeping them alive by the thinnest of margins, eventually the T's are going to force their way through onto the site.
Great aggression here from TYLOO once again. They didn't flash their way into the ladder room, which is kind of interesting, but because they trade out the kills and they're so quick to follow up,
he's slowly creeping out.
Mayan and Wazo Peak
through his exit.
Definitely better to walk away from this one. Again, you've got the round lead. You don't have a lot of money. It's just pretty easy math for them to decide here. Very curious, because I think they had flashbangs, TYLOO, to try and flash that ladder room, and that, I think, is the more common way to do it. But doing it with no warning and still trading out, even in spite of the fact that he lost that early one. Good stuff here. Second round on the board for TYLOO. Really the crowd being a bit excited. They definitely were on their side early in the day. We kind of got to check in with Banks, who's down there in China as well. Definitely seemed like they had a lot of local fans, so that's exciting.
Yeah, it is, and unfortunately we did have to say goodbye to Lin Vision earlier, so the only Chinese team left, of course, is TYLOO to rep their home country. So we'll see how long that lasts for. But I think it's a safe bet to say here, Anders, that TYLOO at this point have realized, right, they are weak on the catwalk side. This short side of mid has been exploited now 2 rounds in a row. It has yielded a ton of success, and there is no reason for them not to continue to do this until 9Z can somehow build up some way of defending this area, because right now it looks way too easy for TYLOO. They're not doing anything too crazy either. It's your standard smoke onto window, onto connector, take mid control, and just go from there. So maybe, you were talking before about CT aggression. Maybe this is the kind of round where you try it out and see what happens.
I think it would be fun to see. They had so much success with it on Nuke that I definitely welcome the return. Man, just a timing shot, nothing spectacular going on there. Ooh, I was gonna say,
if he jumped one more time, you're dead.
Though. Barely in time. I think he realized that something was going on. And Jamyoung takes a jump. He does realize there's someone down in the middle, but for once, TYLOO are not fighting that much for mid control. Instead, looks like they're going to be going back. They will smoke up the window. Probably less efficient when you've got nobody else pressuring that. But once again, a lot of it could come down to Waso Peak. And remember last time I said Waso Peak was getting flashed in by Mayan? This time Mayan's holding the AWP, so it's a bit of a different setup. But he is close, Waso Peak. So one good shot from Mayan here could really cement the defense. Let's see how this one plays out. 55 seconds. Tries to throw out a grenade, and Waso Peak is so flashed. Not what I wanted to see out of the defense here, but Mayan might make up for it still. Gets the kill on the Mercury. DDT is good for the one. 3 versus 3 now. It's
Pull it.
still not too bad for 9C. They could make their way back as Jamyoung's dodging. You could see the tracer outlines of the smoke there. Mayon goes down, and the bomb is not yet planted here. But Max, what could he really do with an MP9 at this range?
Very little. Yeah, he was hoping speculatively through the smoke. And Lutrov now known. Both players have been found. And there's just a case of weeding them out. At this point, Max will not live to tell the tale. Hell of a shot from G. He landed a couple of crackers in that round at least. And what's especially brutal here as well, Anders, is we've been discussing this whole catwalk short mid problem. They did make changes. Mayan playing on that CT box side instead of catwalk.
True.
They had Luchov that was playing mid into ladder room, and it still didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, I think on top of everything else, right? The fact that they had the AWP M4 combination to hold that ramp, and as soon as they were ready to sort of, take that fight, they decided to try and, I think they wanted to throw an incendiary towards the ramp, so they get completely caught off guard, and the flash comes in. Like, it was just, the timing was kind of brutal for them there. DGT in the middle.
What the?
Don't hate the idea with the Deagle, but doesn't.
Jamyoung.
Again, Jamyoung, we saw, I would say, a glimpse of what he could do on Nuke, and it was pretty impressive. But he's such a dangerous player. Get him activated, and that could easily be the key to victory for TYLOO here. Going into map number 2. There is a bit of aggression this time, but, I mean, we don't count it quite the same. Max is pushed all the way out of the palace, which is cool. I'd love to see it in the round where he has an MP9 or some other weapon apart from the Deagle.
Yeah, it's a good point to highlight. Like, it looks bad again on Cat, but keep in mind they are down in the dreary doldrums of just Eagles, and they're being vanquished pretty quickly as TYLOO knocking on the door. They want to raise and pillage this B site once more, but it is
already had Mercury, I think, practically at the does a little bit of damage. And TYLOO extend now, getting a bit of a lead into this. Nice shot for the Deagle. Not going to get another one in the middle, unfortunately, and they'll save the AK. But TYLOO are now back in the lead. Their own T side here on their home map, and it is looking pretty respectable at the moment. Curious, because now we brought it up a couple of times about some of that CT aggression, and it would be so much fun to see. 9C, it worked on Nuke. Not the same map here, obviously, but I still think there's a lot of interesting ways to do it. One of the more fun experiences from my point of view is when you throw down a smoke in the B hallway and you actually push through your own smoke. I think that can be a very cool mind game to play against anyone on the T side who just kind of hears the CT smoke going down and thinks, oh, that's all good, and then you still find yourself on the other side of it. So there are some fun mind games to be played, and I know 9C are a team that, at least in the past, they've done it a couple of times.
Well, they were certainly doing a lot on Nuke, weren't they? We saw multiple CT rounds where they were up on Silo within 20 seconds. And TYLOO like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So maybe some of those plays will be required as now 9Z find themselves behind. Once again, it's almost identical to what happened on Nuke. 3-0 into a 4-3.
Yeah.
TYLOO in the driver's seat and really applying that pressure. Now 9Z do have that buy-in, have changed a little bit again. This time it's Max that's up close. But because he's playing this forward on Cat, he is very nervous about a B apps hit. I mean, he has eyes on it. He can hear the footsteps. But if they just slow walk out here, there is a way forward for TYLOO.
I think it's a really good point. Yeah, he's the B anchor. Luchov is going to be the one playing short. So the fact that Max is now also playing short, my God, Moja.
Nice.
It's just a bit of a distraction, and he's done so well to get that kill on GDT.
What? Max
dancing around, and as soon as they get the kill on him, they know no one's in B. They've already nameplated him. That is huge. I'm glad that you brought that up, because even if it doesn't mean they necessarily win the round by pushing,
it's just the reaction isn't there.
They still find Max in a position that he's not really supposed to be in, and that gives you all the information that you could possibly want here. G's going to be found, which I guess is a bit annoying. Not going to make a difference, though. Mayan still goes down, and TYLOO continue to their march forward here. This is fantastic work on the T side.
And make no mistake as well, Anders, this is by design. They haven't lucked into that Moja push into a fast wrap onto the B site. This has been from the first round they had rifles when they started to exploit Mayans out of position from Moja on the bench. Ever since then, they've been finding their way, trying to throw out a couple rounds on the A site, not making it too obvious and telegraphed. But the fact that Moshe goes and gets the peek from Connector, you've got to be molding, by the way, if you're the player on Staircase that's just been shot in the back. Like, what the hell's happening? And then immediately just snatch right onto the site and execute flawlessly. And again, it's Connector. And again, it's a death on the side of 9Z.
Yeah, this is a very, very thin round already. I mean, even at the start of it, they didn't have a lot of, weapons of any kind, really.
Nice
They've
one.
been completely edged out on this one.
I like to see them
I think the
play in
it, and then Jam Young sort of swung for the
map?
fight. And
Inferno.
they just feel confident, which is not where you want to have TYLOO. Already a team that is mechanically so gifted. I mean, that's been the one thing consistently throughout like the many years. I think even going back to CSGO, like the Chinese teams, they shoot very, very hard. Max holding this position. We got the tomato cans down. I like that. I think that's an interesting, it was much talked about in the community. Do we have graffiti? I actually thought Valve had kind of moved on from doing that, but I think it's a cool way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. It just adds something to the game. Something that is a little bit more, kind of fits with the theme of the map. But it is going to be TYLOO once again dialing in some more success, and this is starting to get out of control now. You posed the question to me, could Mirage see TYLOO pick up their choice of map and run us into Inferno? Everything right now is pointing to yes.
Yeah, they look fantastic. A 9C, maybe not quite with the same impact. I feel like on the defense, there are so many small things. Like they tried to flash the ramp. They've been caught a couple of times themselves. They've kind of tried to fight for mid, but I feel like the timings have been off for them in terms of what they've been doing. You have short, connector, and window. That's 3 different positions that the CTs can swing from. If you flash your way into that fight, that could really work out for you,
DGT so Jam Young through the smoke.
This is a bit of success, though. Zluchov, again, flashing his way over the B wall, and then the shot right on top of the smoke there as Jam Young goes down. So first real big sign of success here, I would say, for 9C. They've got to build on this. They can't let him win more rounds. It's been 6 in a row. There's Luchov as well. Now you can relax. Now you've done everything you wanted here.
Oh, Molotov goes down to the van, not on the balcony. This is where Max should be able to get at least one as he sprawls through. And Moshe is the man that goes down. The smoke's not going to survive or keep him alive, but it actually does. He's able to just find sanctuary in there as the Molotov is still burning away. So I don't know if TYLOO realized just how close Max was to his demise there.
That was so odd. It felt like the Molotov was burning him and the smoke didn't put it out immediately. And then it kind of did anyway, just a second later. So, yeah, Max gets to live. And I think regardless, they probably would have been fine here. G and 0. 2 versus 5. I don't think it's even worth going necessarily for a lot of damage, but they're also kind of locked in. I guess there is the risk that you kind of get hunted down, but 9C, I don't think should be doing that. You don't have the kind of cash yourself. You might need it, even though we're getting kind of late in the round here, or late in the half. So it's going to be a 4th round, finally, after losing 6 in a row. At least 9C are on the board. And it's not a ton of aggression, but at least they had a plan here, right? Flashing over the middle, that peak on top of the connector smoke. I mean, sometimes you don't need more than that. Obviously, it is fun to watch a CT side where they have like really elaborate things going on, but I'll take a flash to the A ramp sometimes. Like just do something simple, count to 3 and let that be the first stage of the plan there. Worked out really well.
Yeah, sometimes in all the complexity and the different levels and layers that is Counter-Strike at this level, simplicity often is just the best remedy. Especially if you are backs to the wall in a pretty rough CT side. Again, keep in mind the 3 rounds that 9Z picked up before that last one were all off the back of the pistol. They lost 6 rifle rounds in a row, essentially. So, have managed to find a winning formula. Is it too little too late? TYLOO still have a ton of cash. I think half of their save in that last round was more so just not wanting to give more weapons across the 9Z for a double AWP or an extra AK. So they only take the 1 AK-47 out of the round, even though 9C were successful. And they are going for a bit more aggression, this time top middle. We'll see if this pays off for them. It's a double stack. First frag, though, goes the way of G.
Spam it, spam it. Would you back up? Would you back down now?
You would have thought that would have backfired way more on TYLOO. What a shocking result. He gets the flick, takes down DGT, and they can't really continue the fight there. Mayan, though, looking to equalize, and he will. Moja goes down. Still a minute and 20 seconds left, but you got to be careful. There is that lurker up in the palace, which has been zero for most of these rounds. He's been hanging out. And look at the forward push from Max on the other side. So they feel pretty comfortable leaving Max alone, which allows them to have this great A defense potentially. Say 9C are set up very, very nicely at the moment to win this round.
Especially with Jam Young on 12 and G58. Can't afford any missteps. But I do like that TYLOO are just slowing this round down. See if 9Z get a bit too apprehensive, overzealous, go pushing in. Huazo Peak, though, nearly had an AWP shot fired directly at his face, but he was fast enough on the draw to deal with him. The flash is going to do nothing for Mercury. He wanted to have that the other side of the ramp so he could try and push in, and things just fall apart as 9Z decapitate and just manhandle TYLOO in this round at least. So a bit of a second wind going through into the latter stages of half one.
Yeah, and a round that could have been very tricky to recover there, I must say. I feel like the way that played out with them running into the boost in middle and not really capitalizing on that moment. This, I feel like that's a mad reaction from G. Like, well played. Smoke blown open and everything. That could have been the end of the round right then and there for TYLOO, but 9C fought their way back, and in part, again, all the action was on the A side of the map, but you got to remember as well, Max was pushed out in the B hallway, which is why they could have this many people. Otherwise, they probably have to have somebody a little bit closer, like towards the window or towards that short position. But Max's forward position gave them a lot of room here. Round number 12, the last of the half, and Jamyong's already off to a hot start. Takes down a player. Zero coming up out of the palace again. It's Mercury to take down Huazo Peak. 3 versus 4 now. And they are sneaking through the middle. It's Jamyong trying to be activated. But in the meantime, 9C aren't even waiting. They're not waiting for the bomb to go down. They're fighting before that. What's the plan here, Jamyong? He's in the smoke. Oh, that's a nice fast kill coming through, and Jamyong's ready to bounce on the other side. Gets the first one, looking for the spray, but Max will cancel him out instead. Another great comeback here for 9C after losing a couple of rounds. They managed to even out the scoreline. It's pretty impressive.
Oof, what an important kill that might end up being for Max come the end of this map. A 1v1, and the IGL of 9C is able to just about weather the storm. So 6-6. They win the first 3 and the last 3 of the half. Very similar outcome to how Nuke started off as well. G's had another really good performance, up to 10 frags, a ton of ADR as well alongside him. So yeah, we are set up for a bit of a banger here around us in this second half. It's super, super tight ball.
Yeah, it looked like they were running away with it, TYLOO. 6 rounds in a row, but man, Mayan's defense, at least in some of these rounds, is really, really good. And I think, to be honest as well, 9C, don't want to say that they were necessarily just unlucky, but there were a couple of rounds there where the timing, like they had grenades in hands just as TYLOO was pushing. It was a bit unfortunate just in that sense. It's not at all over yet. 9C have won every single pistol round so far. If they can win the pistol coming into the second half here, I mean, then maybe that will be one of the keys that people will sort of look back on and say maybe that's one of the reasons why TYLOO ultimately end up losing this series. You lose 4 out of 4 pistol rounds on 2 maps. That is going to have an impact on your scoreline ultimately.
Just curious here, Anders, going into this second half though, how does this pistol round unfold? Will it be another 9Z victory? I think you said they've won 3 out of 3 so far in the series. Yeah. Surely it can't be 4.
Yeah, TYLOO with burgers as well. Again, I wish I knew the reference for the
sponsors,
but they're great regardless.
Sponsor? Is it sponsor or what?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many fun pistol rounds to run on this one. I still am always a fan of like the really short catwalk pushes you can do on this map. You smoke up the window, maybe you smoke connector as well, and just the speed you can get into some of these rounds is really fun. But I guess we'll let it be up to 9C to decide exactly what the plan is here. And I am once again going to be looking for whether or not we have the smoke kit combination. I think it's an essential tool, although a lot of teams don't agree, which is fine. They are the pro teams after all. So, we'll let them decide. But I think smoke kit on Mirage is always a way to get out of a round. Like even if you lose 3 opening kills, you can still win the rounds with that smoke kit. So big fan of it. We'll find out in a couple of seconds as we head into the second half here of the second map. We do have this early game. Still another best of 3 to come a little bit later on in the day. So we've got you covered for the Counter-Strike entertainment. And so far, day's been pretty smooth. How are you feeling, Vince? We kind of got into it a little bit early on. My voice has been struggling in the last week or so. I don't know why it has to be this way, but it just does. So, you know, we've had a couple of tech issues throughout the tournament. I've had my own tech issues, if you want to say that. But how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I can't wait to get into this second map. This is the game I thought could be the most entertaining and exciting one. Obviously, we do have Alliance and Nemesis coming up after this game.
True.
The winner of that will play the winner of this. So we'll have to wait and see what happens going forward. But in this round, you highlighted about a potential catwalk push. Doesn't seem to be coming through as of yet, or at least not quickly. Jam Young has been spotted with those Julies and has to vacate the apps.
That's a disgusting gush coming up from Wasso Peak. I can't believe he, like, look at the angle that he's holding. And that gives them a little bit of room to work with. They can put some pressure on here. They're going to be smoking off top connector. They're going to be throwing a deep incendiary, deep Molotov towards window. And now they are going to wrap around on the catwalk here. Jam Young's in trouble, but oh my god, he still lands the headshot. Mercury to help out. Finally get rid of Jam Young. He shouldn't have been allowed to get that first kill, but he did.
Wow, Mayor.
The dualies, they've been dispatched as well. But do they realize there's another player at the back of the site? I don't think they do just yet. G's hiding back here. It's just DGT, and he goes down. A great layered defense. They had an opening. I mean, they found a part of the map there where Jam Young is holding. He should have been weak enough that they could run him over, and he just fires off that headshot. And I think that alone slows down everything on the T side.
And that also stops the rot and the curse of these pistol rounds. TYLOO have finally broken that. And in doing so, have got every chance of solidifying their position on the CT side. Also, no post plant means no real options for 9Z into this one. Do you have a Deagle in the hands of DGT, who I think it's safe to say hasn't really arrived in this series maybe the way that we'd have hoped for. A player of his caliber, what he did at the major. So maybe this is his moment to shine.
Yeah, he's a really strong player, no question about it. Wouldn't say that he's been underperforming in the series so far, but we can expect more. Deagle to do some damage would be kind of nice. Doesn't even look like they have any utility either on the T side, so no flashes to do anything with, just kind of putting it all in the single pistol. Fair enough. TYLOO appropriately playing a very defensive game, which I think they should be. Jam Young on the one side. Mercury's here as well. MP9 on Jam Young if they ever showed up. That'd be a nice bonus to have, but all right. Decent shooting from Mercury. Might as well disconnect. You know that you don't want to be risking giving away any kind of weapon here to the other side or anything. Damage with Moja. Up around just
That's
fine.
how you said
so,
Moja.
Yeah, I think that was to be expected. No kills being given over to the 9C side of things.
I have to say, though, I was a bit concerned for Mercury, the way that he wide swung connected there, when you don't have the crossfire able to be established from catwalk, because the angle just wasn't allowing Moja to have that impact. I thought he was going to get wide swung on from 3 or 4 plays and end up just getting overwhelmed. Maybe get like a 1 kill for 1, and then connector opens up and things start to get a little bit awkward. Didn't happen. And now 9Z will be coming through with rifles. They are going full firepower, though, so a few players lacking. DGT has nothing, just a flash on Huaza Peak as well, but Luchov is slowly protruding his way through that smoke, and he takes control over the top boxes.
0 to begin with. Flashed in from Moja, who himself gets a headshot on the Luchov. That's so quick. Can't believe he died that fast. Didn't even look like he had a helmet or anything, but pretty sure that he did. 3 versus 5. And Mayan patrolling here, but TYLOO have no incentive. Why would they fight now that they've already got the 2 opening kills here? Moja's kind of peeking his way back in, but to be honest, even if he dies, they've still got another 2 players at the B bomb site, so a bit unusual to have this much of a defense.